Hey everyone, AI is moving so fast that it can feel impossible to keep up,
It really can.
especially all the new terms and concepts that keep popping up.
Definitely.
Well, today we're tackling one of the most exciting and potentially game-changing developments in AI,
Okay.
AI agents.
Oh, yeah. Those are cool.
And we're not just talking about simple chatbots or digital assistants here. We're
Right?
talking about AI systems that can truly take action
Hmm.
and get things done autonomously.
Like a superpowered intern or something.
Exactly. You guys sent us a ton of sources about AI agents, from research letters by Andrew N. to practical insights from AWS.
Wow. That's a lot to cover.
It is. But don't worry, we've got you covered.
Okay, good.
Consider this your AI agent cheat sheet.
I like it.
We'll break it all down in a way that makes sense,
Awesome.
even if you're not a coding whiz.
Perfect.
All right. So first things first, let's define what we're talking about here. One of the AWS articles you sent defines AI agents as software programs that interact with their environment, gather data, and use it to complete tasks autonomously to achieve set goals.
So they can basically think for themselves?
Pretty much. And that's the key here.
What is?
Autonomously?
Right. They're not just passively waiting for instructions.
Exactly. They can make decisions and take actions on their own
Based on the data they've gathered.
and the goals they've been given.
Makes sense.
It's like giving them a mission, and they figure out the best way to accomplish it without needing someone to hold their hand every step of the way.
Now that's impressive.
It is. And the crazy thing is, this isn't some far-off sci-fi concept.
Oh, really?
AI agents are already working behind the scenes in many applications we use every day.
Like what?
Well, think about self-driving cars for a second.
Okay.
They rely heavily on AI agents to navigate those complex environments, making split-second decisions based on real-time data from sensors and cameras.
Wow. I
Yeah.
never thought of it that way.
It's kind of mind-blowing when you realize AI is already making those kinds of decisions for us.
Yeah, it is.
But self-driving cars are just one example.
Of course.
AI agents are also being used in finance,
Uh-huh.
healthcare,
Yeah.
and even to power those super helpful personal assistants like Siri and Alexa.
Right, the ones we've all come to rely on.
Exactly. And as the technology continues to evolve,
Yeah,
the possibilities are pretty much endless.
that's exciting. And maybe a little scary.
True. Now, in those research letters you sent, Andrew Ng keeps talking about something called Agentic Design Patterns.
Oh, interesting.
He says these patterns are key to making AI agents even more powerful and capable.
I can see why that would be important.
Totally. But to be honest,
Yeah.
I'm still a little fuzzy on what these patterns actually are.
Well, think of them as blueprints for building smarter AI agents.
So,
Each pattern represents a different cognitive ability or strategy that allows agents to tackle those increasingly complex tasks.
like different ways of thinking and problem solving.
Exactly. And Andrew Ng breaks them down into 4 main categories:
Let's hear them.
reflection, tool use, planning, and multi-agent collaboration.
Okay. Starting to get the picture here.
Good.
So it's like we're giving AI agents a set of tools and skills
Yeah,
that allow them to learn, adapt, and solve problems more effectively.
you got it.
But let's break those down one by one.
Okay, sure.
What exactly does reflection mean in the context of AI?
Well, imagine you're writing an email,
Okay,
and then you pause to reread it and make some edits.
happens all the time.
That's essentially what reflection is for AI agents.
So it's their ability to evaluate their own work,
Right.
identify potential errors or improvements, and then make those adjustments.
Exactly. Like a built-in editor.
That's pretty cool. But how does that actually work in practice? Does the AI agent just magically know what's good and what's bad?
Well, it's not magic, but it can feel that way.
I bet.
AI agents use techniques like machine learning and feedback loops to learn from their mistakes.
And improve over time.
Right.
So for example,
Yeah.
an AI agent writing code
Huh?
could be trained to recognize patterns of errors or inefficiencies.
That makes sense.
Then when it generates new code, it can automatically check for those issues and make corrections.
In a self-correcting program.
Exactly.
Hmm.
So the more the AI agent works,
Uh-huh.
the better it gets at identifying and fixing its own mistakes.
It's like having an intern who actually learns from their experience.
And doesn't need to be told the same thing a million times.
Exactly. And that's just one example.
Oh, right.
Reflection can be applied to all sorts of tasks,
Like what?
from writing and translation to problem solving and even creative endeavors like music composition.
Wow, really?
The idea is to give the AI agent the ability to critically evaluate its own work and strive for continuous improvement.
That's impressive.
Hmm.
Okay, so on to tool use.
All right.
I have a feeling this one's going to be pretty fascinating.
It is. Tool use is all about giving AI agents access to external resources and tools
Okay,
to extend their capabilities.
I like it.
Think of it like giving your superpowered intern access to the internet, specialized software, and even databases full of information.
So it's not just about the AI agent's internal knowledge and abilities.
Right.
It's also about giving them the ability to leverage those external resources to get the job done.
Exactly.
What kind of tools are we talking about here? Give me some examples.
It could be something as simple as a calculator
Okay.
or a web search engine,
Uh-huh.
but it could also be much more sophisticated,
Like what?
like specialized software for image recognition, natural language processing, or even APIs that allow them to interact with other systems.
Wait, APIs. Can you explain that one a bit more?
Sure. APIs, or application programming interfaces, are basically sets of rules and specifications that allow different software applications to communicate with each other.
So it's like a universal language that different programs can use to share information and work together.
Exactly.
Cool.
And by giving AI agents access to APIs,
Yeah.
we're essentially opening up a whole world of possibilities.
Right.
Like what? They can tap into vast repositories of data, leverage the processing power of other systems,
Okay.
and even control physical devices in the real world.
Wow, that's powerful. So with tool use, AI agents can essentially become master collaborators,
That's a great way to put it.
working with other programs and systems to achieve their goals.
You got it.
But how do they know which tools to use and when? Do they just randomly try things out until something works?
That's where the intelligence of the AI agent comes in.
Okay.
They need to be able to understand what each tool does,
Uh-huh.
when it's appropriate to use it,
Okay.
and how to interpret the results they get back.
So it's not just about giving them access to tools.
Right.
It's about teaching them how to use those tools intelligently and strategically,
Exactly. And that brings us to the next agentic design pattern.
which is planning.
Okay, let's dive into planning. What does that mean in the context of AI agents? Does it mean they can actually schedule meetings and book flights for us? Well, that's definitely within the realm of possibility.
I'd love that.
But planning in AI is more about the agent's ability to break down complex goals
Yeah.
into smaller, manageable steps and figure out the optimal sequence for achieving those goals.
So it's like having an AI project manager who can map out the entire process, anticipate potential roadblocks, and make adjustments along the way.
Exactly.
But how do AI agents actually do that? Do they just magically know the best way to accomplish a complex task?
It's not magic, but it can feel that way.
Uh-huh. I'm sensing a pattern here.
AI agents use algorithms and techniques
Okay.
like search algorithms, decision trees, and reinforcement learning.
To figure out the most efficient and effective path to their goal.
Exactly.
So it's like a combination of logical reasoning,
Uh-huh.
data analysis,
Yes,
and a bit of trial and error to find the best approach.
you got it.
That makes sense. Can you give me a real-world example of how planning works in AI?
Sure. Imagine you're asking an AI agent to plan a trip for you.
Ooh, I like this example.
Instead of just randomly booking flights and hotels, it would consider your preferences, your budget, the time of year,
Uh-huh.
and even factors like weather and local events to create the best possible itinerary.
That's amazing. It's like having a personal travel agent who knows you better than you know yourself.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've covered reflection, tool use, and planning. That leaves us with one more agentic design pattern. Multi-agent collaboration. What's that all about?
This is where things get really interesting. Multi-agent collaboration is all about teams of AI agents working together to achieve a common goal.
So instead of one superpowered AI agent trying to do everything, we have a team of specialists, each focusing on their area of expertise.
Exactly.
But how do they actually collaborate? Do they just sit around a virtual table and brainstorm ideas?
Well, it's a bit more complex than that. AI agents can communicate with each other through various mechanisms, such as message passing, shared memory, or even by observing each other's actions and learning from their experiences.
So they can share information, coordinate their actions, and even learn from each other's successes and failures.
Precisely.
Can you give me an example of how multi-agent collaboration might work in the real world?
Sure. Imagine a team of AI agents working together to manage a complex supply chain.
Oh.
You might have one agent responsible for monitoring inventory levels,
Uh-huh.
another for forecasting demand, another for optimizing shipping routes, and so on.
So each one has a specific role to play.
Exactly. And by working together, they can ensure that the right products are delivered to the right places at the right time.
Minimizing costs and maximizing efficiency.
Precisely.
Wow, that's a great example.
Yeah.
It shows how multi-agent collaboration can be used to solve really complex problems that would be impossible for a single AI agent to handle on its own.
Exactly.
It's like having an entire team of AI experts working together to make things run smoothly.
You got it. And as AI technology continues to advance, we can expect to see even more sophisticated examples of multi-agent collaboration.
In what areas?
Tackling challenges in fields like healthcare, finance, transportation, and even space exploration.
Amazing. So we've covered a lot of ground here, but it feels like we're just scratching the surface of what AI agents can do.
I agree.
It's both exciting and a little bit daunting to think about all the possibilities.
I know, right?
And as with any powerful technology,
Yeah,
it's important to consider both the potential benefits
of course.
and the potential risks of AI agents.
You're absolutely right.
But before we dive into those more nuanced discussions,
Okay,
let's take a closer look at how these agentic design patterns actually work in practice.
sounds good to me.
Andrew Ng provides some really fascinating examples in those letters you sent.
Oh, yeah, he does.
So let's unpack those and see how these patterns are already shaping the future of AI.
Awesome. I'm ready when you are. All right, so let's dive into some of those real-world examples that we were just talking about
Okay, sounds good.
to see these agentic design patterns in action.
Yeah, let's do it.
Starting with reflection.
Oh, the AI editor.
Exactly. That ability of an AI agent to act like its own editor,
Right.
constantly refining and improving its work.
Yeah.
Andrew Ng highlights a really interesting example
Uh,
in one of his letters
uh-huh.
involving an AI agent designed to write code.
I remember that one.
You do?
Yeah, the idea of an AI that can write code is already mind-blowing.
It is pretty amazing.
But the fact that it can also critique and improve its own code is just next-level stuff.
I know, right?
So how does that actually work?
Well,
Does the AI agent have some kind of internal style guide or set of coding best practices that it references?
it's not quite a style guide in the traditional sense,
Okay.
but it is based on a similar principle.
Okay.
The AI agent is trained on a massive data set of code,
I see.
learning to recognize patterns of good and bad code.
So it's like showing an apprentice programmer
Yeah.
thousands of examples of well-written and poorly written code.
Right.
So they can develop an intuitive sense of what works and what doesn't.
Exactly.
That's pretty amazing. But then how does it actually go about making improvements?
Well,
Does it just flag the problems and leave it up to a human programmer to fix them?
not at all. The AI agent can actually suggest specific changes to the code,
Oh, wow.
just like a human code reviewer would.
That's really cool.
It might recommend, say, refactoring a section of code to make it more efficient,
Okay.
or suggest using a different function to improve readability.
That's taking automation to a whole new level.
Hmm.
It's like having a super-powered code editor that not only catches your mistakes, but also helps you write better code in the first place.
Exactly. And the really cool thing is that this process can be repeated multiple times.
Oh, wow. So it's like an ongoing feedback loop.
Yeah. The AI agent can make those suggested changes,
Right.
then analyze the revised code,
Uh-huh.
and suggest further refinements.
It's like having an ongoing collaboration between the AI agent and the human programmer,
Yeah.
both working together to create the best possible code.
Exactly. And it's not just about replacing human programmers with AI.
Right.
It's about using AI to augment human capabilities.
Okay.
And make the development process faster, more efficient, and ultimately produce higher quality code.
That's a powerful concept. And this reflection capability isn't limited to coding, right?
No, not at all.
It can be applied to all sorts of tasks
Yeah,
where quality and accuracy are paramount,
exactly.
like writing.
That's a great example.
I could definitely use an AI agent to help me edit my writing.
Of course.
Maybe it could catch those embarrassing typos and grammatical errors that always seem to slip through the cracks.
The AI agents can definitely be trained to do that.
They can.
They can be trained to recognize patterns of good writing,
Really?
from grammar and syntax to style and tone.
It's impressive.
They can even help you refine your arguments
Oh, wow.
and make your writing more persuasive.
Okay, I'm sold. I need one of these AI writing assistants in my life ASAP. But let's move on to the next agentic design pattern, which, if I remember correctly, is all about giving AI agents access to external tools and resources.
You got it. We're talking about tool use.
Right, tool use.
And it's a game changer
Why is that?
because it allows AI agents to move beyond their internal knowledge and capabilities
Uh-huh.
and tap into the vast resources of the digital world.
So instead of being limited to what they've been explicitly programmed to do,
Yeah.
they can access information, use specialized software,
Yeah.
and even control physical devices in the real world.
You got it. It's like giving them a toolbox full of digital superpowers.
I love that analogy. And just like a skilled craftsperson knows which tool to use for each task,
Uh-huh.
AI agents need to be able to understand the capabilities of each tool,
Yeah.
when to use it,
Right.
and how to interpret the results they get back.
Exactly.
So it's not just about giving them access to tools.
Right.
It's about teaching them how to use those tools intelligently and strategically.
Exactly. And Andrew Ng shares a really compelling example of this in one of his letters,
Okay, what is it?
involving an AI agent that was given access to various online search tools.
Okay.
Now, during a live demo,
Uh-huh.
the primary web search API unexpectedly failed,
Oh, no.
which would have caused most programs to crash or
Yeah.
throw an error.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But this AI agent, using its tool use skills, did something remarkable.
What happened? Did it just give up?
Not at all. It recognized that the web search tool was unavailable
Oh, wow.
and autonomously switched to using a Wikipedia search tool to complete the task.
Really?
Yeah, it essentially improvised a solution on the fly.
That's incredible. It's like the AI agent was thinking,
Oh.
okay, plan A didn't work.
Uh-huh. Right.
Let's switch to plan B.
Mhm.
It shows a level of adaptability
Right.
and resourcefulness. Yeah, that's
Okay.
pretty mind-blowing.
I know.
It's like having an intern who can think on their feet
Yeah.
and find creative solutions when things go wrong.
Exactly. And that's the power of tool use.
Okay, I'm starting to see it.
It allows AI agents to be more resilient, more adaptable,
Yeah.
and ultimately more effective at achieving their goals, even in the face of unexpected challenges.
I like it. Okay, so we've seen how reflection helps AI agents improve the quality of their work
Right.
and how tool use gives them access to a wider range of capabilities.
Yep.
Now let's move on to the agentic design pattern that I find particularly fascinating.
Which one is that?
Planning.
Okay, planning.
I'm really curious to see how AI agents can actually strategize and plan their actions to achieve those complex goals.
All right, let's dive into planning.
Sounds good.
This is where AI agents really start to exhibit those higher level cognitive abilities
Okay.
that we often associate with human intelligence.
Such as?
Foresight,
Yeah.
strategy,
Yeah.
and the ability to break down complex tasks into manageable steps.
So it's like having an AI project manager
Exactly.
who can map out the entire process,
Right.
anticipate potential roadblocks,
Yeah,
and make sure everything stays on track.
you got it. And just like a good project manager.
Yeah.
An AI agent using planning needs to be able to consider dependencies,
Okay.
prioritize tasks,
Uh-huh.
and make adjustments along the way.
As new information becomes available or unexpected challenges arise.
Exactly.
It sounds incredibly complex. How do AI agents actually do this? Do they have some kind of internal Gantt chart or project management software that they're using?
It's not quite a Gantt chart,
Okay.
but the principle is similar.
Okay.
AI agents use algorithms and techniques like search algorithms, decision trees, and reinforcement learning.
To figure out the most efficient and effective path to their goal.
Exactly.
So it's like a combination of logical reasoning, data analysis,
Uh-huh.
and a bit of trial and error to find the best approach.
You got it.
That makes sense. Can you give me a real-world example of how planning works in AI? Something that we can all relate to?
Sure. Imagine you're asking an AI agent to plan a birthday party for your child.
Okay, I like where this is going. Birthday parties are definitely complex endeavors
I know, right?
with lots of moving parts and potential for things to go wrong.
Exactly. Now, instead of just randomly ordering a cake and sending out invitations,
Right.
the AI agent using planning would approach this task strategically.
Okay, so how would it do that?
Well, it would start by gathering information,
Like what?
like how many guests, what kind of theme, what's the budget,
Uh-huh.
and any dietary restrictions.
Jeffrey, okay.
It would consider all those factors and then start breaking down the task into smaller, more manageable steps.
Okay.
It might create a timeline,
Yeah.
make a list of necessary supplies,
Uh-huh.
research different vendors for the cake and entertainment,
Okay.
and even send out personalized invitations to each guest.
Wow, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
It's like having a personal party planner
Right.
who can handle all the details and make sure everything runs smoothly.
Exactly. And the really cool thing about planning
Yeah.
is that it can be applied to all sorts of complex tasks,
Like what?
from writing a research paper
Oh,
to designing a new product or even composing a piece of music.
interesting.
The AI agent can break down those big, seemingly overwhelming tasks into smaller, more manageable steps, making them much easier to tackle.
All right, we've covered reflection, tool use, and planning. That leaves us with one more agentic design pattern. Multi-agent collaboration. I have to admit,
What is it?
this one sounds a bit like science fiction to me,
Really?
but I'm eager to hear how it works.
Well, it might sound futuristic,
Okay.
but multi-agent collaboration is already starting to happen in various fields.
Really?
And it's all about teams of AI agents working together to achieve a common goal.
So it's like a well-coordinated team of human experts.
Exactly.
So instead of one superpowered AI agent trying to do everything,
Yeah?
we have a team of specialists,
Right.
each focusing on their area of expertise.
Exactly.
That makes sense. But how do they actually collaborate? Do they have team meetings and send each other emails?
It's a bit more complex than that.
Okay.
AI agents can communicate with each other through various mechanisms,
Such as?
such as message passing, shared memory,
Okay.
or even by observing each other's actions and learning from their experiences.
So they can share information,
Uh-huh.
coordinate their actions,
Right.
and even learn from each other's successes and failures.
Exactly.
That's a powerful concept. Can you give me an example of how multi-agent collaboration might work in the real world?
Sure. Imagine a team of AI agents
Okay.
working together to manage traffic flow in a busy city.
Okay, I can see where you're going with this.
You might have one agent responsible for monitoring traffic patterns,
Okay.
another for controlling traffic signals,
Uh-huh.
another for rerouting vehicles in case of accidents, and so on.
I see. So each one's playing a specific role.
Exactly. By working together,
Yeah.
they can optimize traffic flow, reduce congestion,
Uh-huh.
and make the roads safer for everyone.
That's a fantastic example.
No.
It shows how multi-agent collaboration can be used to solve real-world problems. That would be impossible for a single AI agent to handle on its own.
Exactly. It's like having an entire team of AI traffic controllers
I love it.
working together to keep the city moving.
Exactly. And as AI technology continues to advance,
Yeah.
we can expect to see even more sophisticated examples of multi-agent collaboration,
For sure.
tackling
Absolutely.
challenges in fields like healthcare, finance,
Okay.
transportation,
Yeah.
and even space exploration.
You got it.
This is all incredibly exciting,
It is.
but also a bit overwhelming.
Yeah, it's a lot to take in.
It feels like we're on the cusp of a major technological revolution with AI agents leading the charge.
I think you're right.
And with any powerful technology,
Yeah.
it's important to consider both the potential benefits and the potential risks.
Absolutely. We can't just focus on the good stuff.
We need to think about the potential downsides as well.
Exactly. It's like any new tool.
Okay.
It can be used for good or for bad,
Right.
depending on the intentions of the user and the safeguards that are in place.
Yeah. That's a great analogy. And when it comes to AI agents,
Yeah,
those safeguards are especially important.
I agree.
After all, we're talking about systems that can make decisions and take actions autonomously,
Right.
which means we need to be extra careful about how they're designed and deployed.
You're absolutely right. Yeah, we need to make sure we're not just creating these powerful AI agents and then setting them loose without any thought for the potential consequences.
Right. It's like giving someone a powerful tool. It can be used for good or for bad, depending on the intentions of the user and the safeguards that are in place.
Exactly. And when it comes to AI agents, those safeguards are especially important. I mean, after all, we're talking about systems that can make decisions and take actions autonomously. So we need to be really careful about how they're designed and deployed.
It's kind of like training a puppy, you know.
Oh, how so?
Well, you can teach it basic commands, but you never know for sure how it's going to behave in every situation. There's always that potential for it to do something unexpected or even dangerous.
That's a good point. And just like with a puppy, I think it's important to start with clear expectations and boundaries. Like, we need to be very specific about what we want AI agents to do and how we want them to behave.
So it's not just about writing the code.
Right.
It's also about defining ethical guidelines and safety protocols for these AI agents.
Exactly. We need to think about things like data privacy, bias, accountability, even the potential for unintended consequences.
Right, because those things can happen even with the best of intentions.
Exactly. And these are not just technical challenges. These are also like social and philosophical challenges that require careful consideration
Hmm.
and collaboration between experts from different fields.
It sounds like we need a whole new set of rules and regulations for the age of AI agents.
Well, I think that's inevitable. We're already seeing governments and organizations around the world grappling with these issues, trying to develop frameworks and guidelines for the responsible development and deployment of AI.
Well, I'm glad those conversations are happening because it's better to address these concerns proactively rather than waiting for something to go wrong and then trying to play catch up.
Oh, absolutely. And it's not just about preventing negative outcomes, it's also about making sure that AI agents are used to benefit society as a whole.
So it's about harnessing the power of AI agents for good while also mitigating the potential risks.
Mhm.
It's a delicate balance, but I think it's one that we can achieve if we approach this technology with both enthusiasm and a healthy dose of caution.
I couldn't agree more. It's a really exciting time to be working in the field of AI. But it's also a time for responsible innovation and thoughtful reflection.
So what does this all mean for our listeners? What can they do to prepare for this future where AI agents are becoming, increasingly prevalent in our lives?
Well, I think the most important thing is to stay informed. Read about AI agents, learn about their capabilities and limitations, and engage in conversations about their ethical and societal implications.
Right. And don't be afraid to ask questions.
Yeah, that's important.
Challenge assumptions, demand transparency, and hold developers and policymakers accountable for creating AI systems that are safe, reliable, and beneficial to humanity.
Exactly. Because the future of AI is not predetermined. It's something that we're all shaping together through our choices and actions.
That's a great point. So as we wrap up this deep dive into the world of AI agents, I want to leave our listeners with a sense of both wonder and responsibility. This technology has the potential to revolutionize our lives in countless ways, but it's up to all of us to make sure that it's used for good.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Stay curious, stay engaged, and let's work together to create a future where AI agents enhance our lives and help us build a better world.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep those questions coming.